Hello learners, Namaskar. I am Pragya welcoming you in your YouTube channel English Seeker. Today I am here to present the second part of the fourth poem, and that title is How to Tell Wild Animals. It is the fourth poem of the book First Flight, and it, as I promised, that in the second part I will provide you the key points with the poetic devices and the poem in a nutshell. And if you have any other queries related to this poem, so you can write in comment box. Definitely I will try to solve that problem too. So let's start, and now we will going to talk about the key points of this poem. The poem's title is How to Tell Wild Animals. So the very first point of this poem may be that the theme of the poem is the identification of wild animals and how an encounter with them will end. The poet describes the encounters in a humorous way. The irony of the contrast in the actions of the wild animals and their appearance is also brought by the poet. The poet has used the special characteristics of the animals to build humor in the poem. So, the very first we can say that this poem is a humorous poem. Next point may be that the Bengal tiger is royal and noble, but he eats you. The leopard will leap at you, and the bear's furious hug will suffocate you. The crocodile will deceive you with his tears, and the hyena's merry smile will not be genuine. The poet uses some animal idioms to create humor. For instance, she uses crocodile tears and a laughing hyena, and even expressions like bear hug. The rhyming scheme of the poem is ABABCC. I hope that in every stanza you can find out it. I am just giving you the one example. The very first stanza's rhyming word is chance east advance beast dying lion. So its rhyming scheme is ABABCC. In the same manner, the complete rhyming scheme, the rhyming scheme of complete poem is just the same. If I will talk about the poetic devices, more poetic devices, so we can say the poem uses the device of inversion in which the order is changed. Okay, inversion poetic device, the order is changed. How? I will tell you. Which is a change in the format of a sentence. In the format of a sentence, when any poet or any writer do the format a changement in the format of the sentence, so you can say the inversion is there. For example, if there should to you advance, and the second line, the Bengal tiger to discern. Assonance figure of speech is also used there, and it is what? Assonance is the repetition of the vowel sounds in successive words. So in the poem, the poet uses this device by repeating several vowel sounds. For example, the use of vowel sound O. In which line I am just telling you that you should go, should to you, roads, or if sometime when roaming round, strolling forth, do not go to roar. So here the vowel sound O, and in some examples, for example, meet a creature there, here vowel sound E is repeated again and again. So you can say the assonance figure of speech is here. If next, the poem has several instances of alliteration too, which is the repetition of consonant sound in the successive words. For example, the use of H sound, he hasn't, who hugs, he has. The use of R sound, roaming round. The use of W sound, when walking. The use of B sound, be sure it is a beer. And the use of N sound, a novice might non-plus. So here the alliteration figure of speech is also present. Next, if we will talk about that the others figure of speech, so we can say that personification is here, enjambment is here, and allusion is also here. Personification, you know that where non-living things is considered as living thing or as the human being. Non-human being things is considered as human being. So you can say the personification is here. Enjambment, as I told you, run on line. When one sentence is not completing itself in one line, it is going to the second one or the next one. So enjambment is also here. If I will talk about the last poetic device, that is allusion. So what is allusion? Allusion means you can say you have taken any reference from the any other book. So the reference is also taken here. Because of this, you can say, and the reference is Asian lion. In the word Asian lion, the reference is taken. So allusion is also here. If I will talk about the poetic license, so what is poetic license? Poetic license is the liberty taken by a poet when it comes to language and expression. In the poem, the poet changes the actual spelling of certain words. For example, he uses lapped instead of leaped. So the spelling is different, and here the poet uses poetic license. It is poetic license. So these were some key points, and with figure of speech, I also told you the figures of speech too of this poem. So now we were on the very last, and in it I just want to tell you the complete poem in a nutshell. So we can say that the poet describes various wild animals and their actions in their poem. She tells the reader how to recognize various wild animals that may be the cause of their death. These dangerous animals have been made to seem less fearful in the way they have been described. The poem can be termed nonsense poetry because every encounter with an animal ends in a ridiculous manner. So this poem also, this poem comes in the category of humorous poem, but this poem also may come in the category of nonsense poem, just because what is described in this poem, if anyone is going to apply that for tasting, for recognizing the wild animals, then definitely there would be no one to recognize that. There that person wouldn't be alive. So it is, you can say it is a nonsense poem too. So these were the poetic devices and the key points of this poem. Thank you.